Hey, welcome back to Cervantes Math and Adventures. Today we're going to be looking at two-step equations. This is basically the foundation of mathematics. Two-step equations, everything in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, pre-cal, cal steps up from two-step equations. This is the superior foundation, right? So to master two steps equation is to build that foundation for you to be a better mathematician. So here we have an equation. 4 minus 6x is equal to negative 20. We're going to kind of work off reverse PEMDAS. We want to isolate this x value. We want to get the x value all by itself. So we're going to move stuff further away from the x value. This negative 6 is right with it, negative 6 times x, right? So we're going to remove this positive 4. Now the inverse, the opposite of a plus 4, is simply minus 4 to both sides, right? Minus 4 to both sides. This goes to 0. That was our main purpose, right? This comes on down. We got negative 6x equals negative 20 minus 4 is negative 24. Now we're one step away. One step, you see. That's why two-step equations are the foundation of all this. So one step, negative 6 times x, the opposite of times, or multiply. Negative 6 multiplied by x equals negative 24. The opposite of multiplying by a negative 6 is simply dividing. And we do to one side, we always do to the other. Divide by a negative 6. And I'm left with negative 6 divided by negative 6 is 1, right? Same number divided by same number is always 1. So x is equal to negative divided by negative is a positive. 24 divided by 6 is 4. And that right there is our solution. X equals a positive 4. Here we are again with another two-step equation. It is a little more complex here. There's a little more to this equation. We do have, let's see, solve the equation for x, right? 4x minus the quantity, right? The quantity of 6x minus 1 is equal to negative 9. So before we can really start jumping into the equation and say, okay, two-step equation right off the bat, we need to simplify first, right? So just recall that. Must, I don't know what happened to my M, must simplify first. And the first thing we're going to have to do is remove the parentheses, right? We're going to continue kind of like with our PEMDAS steps, first of all. So we got 4x minus 6x minus 1 equals negative 9. To remove the parentheses, I'm going to have to distribute this negative sign, right, to both items. We'll try and take these steps kind of slow, right? I end up with 4x minus 6x, right? And the minus negative 1 equals negative 9. These two negatives right here create a positive. So I got 4x minus 6x plus 1 equals negative 9. And it's okay to take it step by step. We're in no rush. We don't need to rush anything. Now, can I simplify anything else here? Is there anything else I can simplify before? Yeah. Both these values have x, right? We can combine like terms, right? 4x minus 6x. I'm going to combine these two together. 4x minus 6x is negative 2x plus 1 equals negative 9. And now we're at the two-step equation. We got there. We're two-step equations. We're 2 steps away from solving this problem. Again, we go reverse PEMDAS. This is what we're going to do last. Whatever's with your variable, we're going to do this last. So the inverse of a positive 1 is negative 1. I subtract 1 to both sides, right? This goes to 0. I have negative 2x equals negative 9 minus 1 is negative 10 now. 1 step away, right? Negative 2 times x. The inverse of multiplying is division. Instead of multiplying by a negative 2, we're going to divide both sides by negative 2 to solve this equation out. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a giant 1. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that right there is our solution. Here we go again with another two-step equation with some modifications. Right off the beginning, we can't just say, okay, let's dive into this. We look at this equation. Let's read it out loud real fast, right? -4 plus x divided by 6 is equal to -5. I said something there that probably frightened you, frightens everybody. We have a fraction, we have a value, we're dividing by, we have x divided by a 6. I guess I can show you, two ways to work it out. Work it out one way, and then I'll restart, work it out a second way, just so you get both ways, right? You can see both solutions to it. The first method could be, hey, let's remove this division by 6. Let's get it out of there. I don't want to divide by 6, right? So ask ourselves, what is the opposite of dividing by a 6, right? Everyone knows, hopefully, right? The opposite of divide by 6 would be to multiply by 6. So that's what I'm going to do to every single term. If we do it to every term, we're not changing our value, right? We're not going to change it. So I'm going to go with my original equation. We'll write it out here in black, right? -4 plus x over 6 equals -5. I gave myself some space because I just said we're going to do the opposite of divide by 6. I'm going to multiply every term by a 6. Right here, see? All three terms by a 6. I end up with 6 times -4 is -24. Here is the purpose of the multiply by 6. What is 6 times x divided by 6? Well, let's do this in a little sub over here, right? We get 6 times x divided by 6 would be equal to 6x divided by 6. Well, 6 divided by 6 is 1, which is just equal to x. That's the deal we want to get. We want to see, okay, this 6 and this 6 divide each other out. 6 divided by 6 is 1. I'm left with x. I'm left with x equals 6 times -5 is -30. And now I have, I would say two-step, but it's not even a two-step. This becomes a one-step equation. -24 plus x equals -30. What's the opposite of -24, right? We solve everything away from the x. The inverse of -24 is +24. And we see my solution already, right? We get a big 0 here. X is equal to -6. Done. So now let's see that second way, right? We got that first way. We're like, okay, we saw it, multiply everything by 6. That's great. If you're understanding this concept of mathematics, you're getting it, you're like, okay, I don't know why he worked so hard for that previous one. We still got this -4x, right? Same equation, -4x plus x divided by 6 equals -5. I'm going to solve this straight up. I'm not afraid of the fraction. I got no fear. I live dangerously. I like to live my life on the wild side. We're going to solve inverse PEMDAS. We're going to remove the furthest from my x. Here's my variable. Inverse of a -4 is +4 to both sides. This cancels out to 0. I'm left with x divided by 6 equals -1. Now I got x divided by 6. The inverse of division by 6 is, just like we spoke about in the previous question, the inverse of dividing by 6 is multiplying by 6. These two cancel out into a giant number 1 times x, which is just x. -1 times 6 is -6. And we see that our answer is correct. It correlates. Both ways gave us a -6. This is a little shorter. Again, you understand that concept. You're not afraid of division. Hit up the problem this way. I'm going to ask you guys again, like and subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thank you. And this was a good introduction to two-step equations.